So this is the second session, and we'll look a little bit at LILO, which we started talking about. And one of the key things about the LILO is low performance demands. And some of these techniques like imitation, repetition, all of this goes with low performance demand. So for example, if there's a story that's being narrated in class, the child has a lot of flexibility. They can either, if they just want to orally repeat or if they want to imitate the movements, there is no pressure. So when we do the raised family immersion class, and you saw that, whenever Anand felt like he was doing the movements for the Arunachala Shiva, he was singing when he wanted to. So there is absolutely no pressure. And that's what I think really makes it a LILO. The second thing that we also do to make it LILO is family immersion. So we make it an experience for parents and children to enjoy together. And the reason we want to do this is, if the child is just sitting and not really participating, then that's okay. So Ujjwal will usually say, Amma and Mihir do this, Amma and this one do this, or whoever it happens to be there. So that gives perfect freedom for the child who wants to participate, fine. If the child is not participating, no need to push them. And there are one or two people who are attending with their screens off now. They say that we just want to attend the session, see what's going on, and we'll do it in our own time. And sometimes, with ND, sometimes they're not in a good mood, they don't want to do it. Perfectly fine. So no pressure. We invite parents and children to join, and all of these makes it a much more low-key and enjoyable experience. And that's the process. Gitanjali, I don't know if you can speak to that, because Gitanjali has been one of our regulars, and she's brought me here a long way with the whole process.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, just before the parents were asking, like their son will not respond, the child will not respond. So what I'll say is, like to that parent, it's okay if he doesn't respond in the starting, but meanwhile, if we keep on doing it, we'll make a small connection. Like with the child will make a connection with us and also with himself and also with the like mind and body coordination. I felt like it's okay if he doesn't respond. You just keep on doing.
That's a great point. I think,
Thank you.
If you start thinking in terms of LILO, it all starts to fall in place, because, we actually have three main components to LILO, which is the calm presence of the guide. And I'm looking at the guide first, that the child may not be very calm. They may be doing whatever in the beginning, but hopefully they get there as well. The calm presence of the guide, then the enjoyment and connection. So these are sort of the three main ingredients. So when the class is going on, we are hoping to have that connect between, the guide and child, and also the parent and child. So when you go back after the class and do it, that's the most important thing. So if you look at Theatre Arts for Holistic Development, they have a method called the 4 E's. And this really struck me, that the one of the E's is enjoyment. And I said, I've never really come across a method that has enjoyment as the core of the teaching process, especially for NDs, right? It's always like, okay, which skill do I need to drill next? And, where do I need to push? So I've actually started framing it as, let's take a LILO approach rather than the rush to fix approach. And I think a lot of times we are under that pressure too as parents. So to say that it's okay, it's not going anywhere. We're not going to solve all the world's problems in a month. It's okay to take it slow and, enjoy the process. And that connection with your child is far more important. And we actually went through things like relationship development intervention and all this for 20 years. So for us personally, the enjoyment and connection were quite familiar. The missing piece was the calm part of it. Just having a guide with a consistently very calm demeanor with low performance demands, that was not always there. So I think we have come up with three variables which we see as very, very key, which is that calm demeanor of the guide, the enjoyment, and the connection. So if you keep your mind on that rather than which skill am I going to drill today, I think eventually things start to move. And you don't know what will move. I mean, coming in, when we first started the visuals class, I had no idea that Anant was wanting to tell stories. So he just did a performance recently and narrated like 7 stories in a row. So that's not what we were thinking. He came in for a Bharatanatyam lessons, but he is actually, it turned out he's far more interested in storytelling, and now he's in the race class also trying to narrate stories there. So you don't know what the outcomes will be. You just, observe, notice what is happening. And that's part of Lilo too. I think observation is very important part of Lilo, instead of pushing, see where the child is headed and support that process. So those are a few thoughts I had, and if anyone wants to add to that. Ujjwal, you wanted to comment on some of this?
Hello, I welcome all of you for the race class. So Ramaji was telling, although in the race class we are only working on some children rhymes and the concept songs. So Ramaji feels that the Bharatanatyam aspect of it, the Tattadu that we did today, so is it has a very beautiful power of calming and also at the same time energizing, and also to teach many concepts through these Adavu songs. So we were just thinking of including these Adavu songs and also the beautiful hand gestures that are available in Bharatanatyam, which also are used to communicate. And when you communicate, it gives us opportunity to share many stories, and each of these stories have a seed of value in it, and which will when it seeps in, then new sprouts come out of it. And we see that we are in life of Anant, and I personally also all the stories that I've heard through my life, and it actually helps me at the time of crisis, and it helps me at the time when I need solutions to the problems. So these stories are seeds which are sown inside us for sprouting at the right time and giving us fruits at the right time. So I welcome you all to be a part of this race experience. And also for those who are like Anilaji, who is not able to come. So we are since we are having this Ujjwal Natya Hub, and we are planning to start a YouTube channel too in the same name, so that the classes will be regularly posted by the help of Ramaji and Anant. And Anant has been working with editing the videos now. He is learning editing, and his contribution will be there in all these videos that are going to be posted in the Ujjwal Natya Hub channel. So I request all of you to be be ready to all these upcoming inputs. Thank you.
And I'm also doing what I call a 100-day lab for this Lilo, because I think it's not a concept that registers instantly. We've been at it for more than 2.5 years, and then you realize how powerful it is. Anand started in 2022, and he's still very happy to go to Ujjwalana's class, because that experience of, and no pressure doesn't mean you're not learning anything. You're learning a lot, but it's it's more at your pace. It's respectful of where you are and where you're ready to move. So I think it's a process that you learn slowly. And I think I'd also encourage you to join our discussions. Now the parents are getting pretty active in the Raise family immersion class. And also, since I don't want to overload that group, because that I want to keep more for just sharing the weekly resources, for example, the videos and so on. So we have a couple of other groups, one which will be the 100-day lab for people to try out this Lilo approach. So for example, you take one video from the class and you take one small bit. You decide that you're going to try a concept song with your child, because we can keep talking, right? But nothing really happens unless you try it. So I would encourage people, even if you've not done a class, we keep sharing. We share the so many videos. And Manju's daughter Lavanya is great. She'll go through the list, pick one herself, try it out herself, record it, and share it for us. So the parents can follow the same process. Look through what your child might like, And even in that, you might want to try. So, for example, Ujjwal did the Tattadavu. And I've had a parent really scale that down and said, first, few days, I just worked on the posture, just standing in that position, which he didn't really go into as much, but standing in the Aramandi position. Then I did this. So that one little adavu might take many days to break down and work with your child, depending on, where they happen to be. So this is what Dr. Ambika Kameshwar, who developed Theatre Arts for Holistic Development, calls point of learning. So I think the key here is, the class is the same for everyone, but everyone's point of learning is different. So what you pick, what you try, it's going to depend on that point of learning. And that, I think, also makes it Lilo, because you're very tuned to where the learner happens to be, not what you think should be learned. So that also makes it Lilo. So we encourage you to take the videos, see what small slice might work for your child. And for example, if there's a song on on animals, you might just start with one animal and one line or two lines and work with that for a bit, and then, add on more. So really there is no rush. And if you come to the class, you'll get a taste of that process. So if Ujjwal started the bee song about 2 classes back, we are just slowly, doing that. So I think that's where the class experience is helpful, because when you see the completed videos, it's just Ujjwal and Anant quickly demonstrating it in 5 minutes. So you don't see the process through which it's developed in class. But I think if you attend the class, you get a feel for how you can gradually build, and you may actually need to build a lot more gradually with your child, depending on wherever they happen to be. In a classroom, there's only so much you can do when you have a group setting. But when you go back home, and that's why we are very, I was very keen that this should be done as a family immersion model, because then, whatever happens in class, the parent is there, they know what has been done, and then they can go home and, take it to their child in a way that works for them. So that's why these pieces, the Lilo and the family immersion, all these come together. Any other questions, comments? Manju, you had any comments? Because Lavanya has been there in the process too. So
I would like to share one experience. Like today itself, it happened. So it's very fresh in my mind. So now we are working on max. We are going very slow with max concepts, because some children are very good at max wala concept, but some children are like in our I mean, in all the children actually, but in ours also they are very. So Lavanya is one who is not good at max. I mean, she is very, very. It is very difficult for her. So I started it very slow. So I took a concept today, and I realized that so much stress it gives, like max, if we are not teaching it in a very slow manner, it can give so much stress that a child, like I realized that she knew the concept, but she went into stress and she started saying wrong answers out of confusion. So I mean, this happened after many, like, after many time. I mean, I don't give her stress normally. We do it in a very joyful manner. But today I realized, oh, maybe I am doing something wrong here. Maybe I have to slow down. Maybe I have to go back to basic concept and start it from there. So, I mean, it is so clear and evident to see how the child is going into stress and giving wrong answers, even though knowing about the concept and very confident about the concept, but just due to stress they can give wrong answers and they can get confused and they can go into a stressful situation. So lying low is like something, today you took that topic, and I'm able to like slow down and think where I went wrong, what did I do wrong, how should I slow down, how should I go to the basics and work on it. So I just wanted to share this experience.
thank you, Manju. I think the Lilo, once you start thinking, there are just so many dimensions to this. So one of the big reasons why Anant really loves the classes in with Ujjwal is also because the dance hall in RMCL is huge. It's a large hall, no visual clutter. It's just a few bookshelves at the back of the room, and he loves it. He's just there. He's got this whole space to dance. So the reason I'm mentioning this is these are all variables you may not think of. So let us say you decide, okay, we're going to take this song and we're going to try it with our child. But now you're in this very cluttered room with so many objects, and maybe the child is getting so distracted by it that they don't want to do anything. The other thing we found is out in nature. So Anant, it shifts. We had recorded one Rama song in Connecticut, and the day before in the basement, it was like very flat. All that happened was next day we went out and did it in the yard because it was one of those beautiful 60-day 60 degrees weather, and it was entirely different. So with our children, we have to really look at some of these kind of variables. So we do a lot of stuff on the walks, from the time when Anant was very young. People probably think we are strange, doing hastas on the walk, but that's the way it goes. We can take many of these.
They need all relaxed environment.
Yes. So
They have to be
I'm mentioning
relaxed.
these because there are just a lot of different things you can do to make it a little bit more lie-low and relaxed. And walk is absolutely one of the ones that has worked very, very well for us. So we combine walk with almost anything.
So I wanted to add one thing, Manju also. Recently, we started storytelling. So storytelling is so much with Mukund especially, that we are using stories everywhere. So we start with Fox and Crow story, where the crow starts singing and the laddu falls down. So it was like he never wanted the laddu falling down. The idea of crow picking the laddu came to his mind. He's like, no, crow ate the laddu. I thought he's not getting the story. Then he said, Amma, next day crow found the laddu, and this time crow ate the laddu. Then I was like, okay, he wants the crow to eat the laddu, because so when we are doing storytelling, I understood the thought process of my children. Like, the thought process has already gone in his own way. He's unable to accept what had happened to the laddu. He's unable to accept the disappointment faced by the crow. He is seeing Mukund in the character of the crow. So then I changed the story. Then again I said, no, it is too much for him. So he just didn't pay attention to the laddu. So the laddu fell down. Then we went into physics, gravitation, why it falls down, etc. and everything. Even math also, we have started storytelling. Now this paved way. Like, I wanted to tell him how he grew over the ages. Now he's 13, but now he doesn't want to recognize that he's a grown-up child, because he's youngest of all the cousins. So he says, no, I am still Mukund in Strawberry Fields, his old school. Then I thought we started biology lesson with that, how a small seed of mango seed, it grew with year names, 2023, 24, 25, 26. And I don't know, unfortunately or fortunately, we changed many schools. So the name of the schools are anchors for each year name. So that's how then, that's why I'm saying children who are verbal are not always verbal. Then when I started, I usually doodle. So when I was doing the doodle, when I increased the height of him, it is like he raised his shoulders and he said, Amma, Mukund is big, 13 years old, now Mukund is big. So, I mean, expecting the verbal feedback from them is not always, it is not possible at all. When we pressurize them to give the verbal feedback, that's when echolalia and all come into picture, and they just don't, reflect what they want. They speak, but that is not what they actually want to speak. Yes, that is why I had to move to pointing, gestures, whole body movement to know for the actual expression, for the real expression.
A lot of great points there, and I think the where the child is, I just have a little example from my 3-year-old grandson, because he loves Ujjwal stories too. So now he's another fan of Ujjwal Anna stories. And actually, it's created a great bond between Anand and his nephews because of all the storytelling. So the first time Ujjwal told a story about a goat that fell into a ditch. And so then Ujjwal asked him, "How do you like the story?" "Bad story." So it's like, why is he saying bad story? We couldn't figure it out. Then a few hours later, it came out. He did not like the goat falling into the ditch. And after that, I think he tuned Ujjwal out. He didn't hear anything about the resolution of the story where the goat is saved. And it was just a bad story because the goat fell. So they have their own, thought processes. And sometimes that can derail storytelling when you're doing it. But the other point is also about the visual. And we've started doing a little bit of this in the race class now, because a lot of the autistic ND children can be more visual. And for Anant, I used to use a lot of visual and tactile tools for story recall. So we have started doing a little bit of we've started including a little bit of a visual recall retelling component, which we also hope to develop as we go forward. So any other thoughts, questions? Okay. So any closing thoughts, Ujjwal, and then we'll wrap up.
Yes, as you rightly told, lying low is not only for the ND children that we are talking about, it's for each one of us. And when we lie low, I think I keep telling the Natya is an opportunity for everyone to grow. So that's why our tagline for Ujjwal Natya Hub, I love the part that learning together is there. So let us all learn together and grow together. And I'm sure the journey is very, very joyous and filled with great discoveries.
Thank you, Ujjwal. Thanks for the presentation of the 6 S's. And I'm hoping, for me, the 2 or 3 things I'd like parents to think about, first of all, is daily rhythms, because nothing really works if it's 5 minutes in a day. If you do 5 minutes of storytelling and then the rest of the time the child is in a high pressure environment in school and is very stressed out after 5 hours, and then you're doing 5 minutes of Lilo work, that's really not going to take root. So we are very, very blessed. We are now in the neighborhood of Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning. Anand is very happy. He gets up in the morning, goes there for volunteering, then does his dance class, or he's just sitting in on some music classes. There's a Ramana shrine nearby. He has a lot of enjoyable experiences. So if you think about it, our children want the same thing as any other child, but they have a lot of maybe sensory issues and so many other things going on. So just finding the right environments for them is equally important. And then creating those Lilo experiences throughout the day. So that's the daily rhythm. And that is where the 6 S's, came in. And I'm happy we were able to start with something that can, plant a seed for thinking about the daily rhythms for your child as well as yours, because I think they're both intertwined. If we are rushing around and stressed, that doesn't help either. So for both parent and child to have that grounded feeling in the daily rhythms, and then build in some structured theater explorations which you can get from the race class and by other means. So the reason I think something like the race class is important is this is not, we can sing If You're Happy and You Know It, and that's THD too, as Dr. Ambika would say. But the point is, it doesn't give you that structured approach to how to do it. So if you go through the race class, I think it gives you a little bit of an approach. And then if you want to sing Wheels on the Bus, hey, you can make that THD too. So it's not a problem. You can definitely do it, and we all do it. But I think having a structured process and having that structured experience, I think gives you a lot of ideas for how you can build it into your day and how you can use it for learning. So I loved your explanations, Anila, about how, you can start from those stories, and from there, if you have a tree song, so much can happen. I started the fruit song with my grandson, I don't know, like 7-8 months back. You think it's only one fruit song, it'll be done in, a week. But it's not like that, because every time, and we actually have wonderful conversations on Zoom because we have all these songs. So he'll be sitting there with the fruit in his hand, and we'll sing the song or talk about the song and, talk about the different things you can do with the fruits and all these things. Then we made up a silly fruit song, which is A for watermelon, B for, mango, whatever it is, and he'll laugh. So there's just so many things you can do once you get started. And so I think what the race classes do is plant a seed, and we definitely invite you to come be part of it and join us as you can. So thank you all, and I'll post the recordings, and hopefully we'll see more people in the sessions, and also hopefully Natya Hub will be up and running soon with the YouTube channel, and I can start posting there. I know Anila will keep asking, are the videos ready? So now she can ask the two of us. We're trying to help Ujjwal get that going. So thank you all. Thanks for joining, and we'll meet again. Hopefully, we're trying to do these kind of sessions once a month. So because you're in the class, you can just get the experience. So we can't. Sometimes it's good to be able to step back and talk about what's going on. So hopefully we can have these sessions once a month. That's what we are hoping to do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.